With survivalists and preppers gaining mainstream media attention, internet discussion of military equipment and tactics frequently brings up the name William E. Fairbairn, most famously associated with the Fairbairn Sykes commando knife, used by military forces around the world, including the UK's SAS. Widely regarded as one of the foremost innovators in modern close-quarters combat, he was famously described as a man with an honest dislike for anything that smacked of decency in fighting. There are countless stories and rumours about William Fairbairn. I'll leave debating the effectiveness of any of his strategies to other, more knowledgeable people, and instead tell you two facts about the man himself. Firstly, he survived more than 600 street fights with gangsters while stationed with the Shanghai Metropolitan Police. Secondly, he devised and taught methods of disabling opponents using a single folded piece of newspaper. During World War II, his book All in Fighting was standard issue for British commandos and Allied forces. It was later reprinted under the equally appropriate name Get Tough for the American release. Simply put, it's brutal stuff. So brutal, in fact, that in 1942, the Germans distributed a flyer describing the techniques Fairbairn taught with his colleague Sykes to convince neutral countries that the British were barbarians. From both a technical and historical viewpoint, All in Fighting is an interesting read. The initial instruction of edge-of-the-hand techniques evokes memories of John Steed, James Bond and Austin Powers, judo chopping their way through campy, enigmatic villains. It also puts the stage fighting technique into its true context. Allied commandos really were taught this attack, and it is literally on the first page of the book. The next page features an illustration of a commando clawing a Nazi officer's eyes, and in fact, every opponent in the book is illustrated as wearing a Third Reich uniform. Instructions are clear-cut and no-nonsense throughout. Directions for use of the Bronco kick begin with the words, "Your opponent is lying on the ground," and ends with the words, "Smash him," accompanied by an illustration of an Allied trooper descending towards the earth with both feet outstretched. Later, a method of securing a prisoner called the grapevine utilizes a tree, gravity, and said prisoner's own limbs in, well, what I can only describe as an act of diabolical genius. The tone of the book is unapologetically ruthless and gives a real insight into the mindset of a country at war. I recently learned that Fairbairn also wrote another manual entitled Self-Defense for Women and Girls, incorporating many of the same techniques from All in Fighting. Considering the latter contains no fewer than 9 illustrations of men's testicles being kneed or otherwise pulverized, I'd certainly like to pick up a copy of Self-Defense for Women and Girls, just to see for myself how Fairbairn advises young ladies to deal with pushy advances in the theatre. On that note, I'll leave you with these images of testicular destruction, accompanied by music from The Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky. Goodbye.